The glowing book continued to shimmer in Nico's hands, its light filling the small alcove of the library. Every time he and Sila moved closer, the images inside it grew brighter and more detailed. Humans and aliens worked side by side, building enormous machines, creating strange devices, and sharing ideas with careful precision. Sila leaned forward, her eyes wide. It's almost like we're watching history in motion, but faster, compressed into moments we can understand. Nico nodded, fascinated. It's more than history. It's a guide, showing how they solved impossible problems together. I've never seen anything like this. The book pulsed as if responding to Nico's excitement. Holographic pages flipped on their own, revealing new scenes of collaboration and ingenuity. Nico felt a strange warmth spreading through him, almost like the library itself was encouraging him to pay attention. I think it's alive, Nico said softly. Not like a person, but like it wants someone to see it, to understand it. Sila frowned slightly. That sounds strange. Books aren't supposed to have feelings. Are you sure it's safe? Before Nico could answer, Caro's calm voice echoed through the alcove. You are correct in your observation, Sila. Some records contain energy and consciousness from past civilizations. They are reactive. They respond to curiosity, focus, and emotional engagement. They are safe if approached with respect, but they can overwhelm unprepared minds. Nico tightened his grip on the book. I can handle it. I want to see more. Sila hesitated, then nodded. Okay. But let's be careful. Step by step. The book's light intensified, forming a holographic maze of symbols and floating structures. It was as if the book wanted them to solve a puzzle, a challenge left by the ancient humans who had created it. Nico and Sila exchanged glances, both feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. I think it's showing us a problem to solve, Nico said. Something that tests more than knowledge, maybe teamwork or judgment. Sila studied the symbols. It's strange. I feel like the symbols are reacting to how we think. If I move this piece in my mind, it moves in the projection too. Nico smiled, intrigued. Then let's try it together. We can figure it out. As they focused, the holographic maze shifted, responding to their thoughts and cooperation. Some puzzles required logic, others required empathy, imagining how a human or alien would act in a particular situation. Nico and Sila realized the challenge was not only about intellect but also understanding, patience, and trust in each other. This is incredible, Nico said, his eyes shining. It's teaching us how they thought, how they worked together to solve problems that seemed impossible. Sila's voice was soft, almost awed. And it feels alive. I can sense it wanting us to succeed, to learn. It's guiding us, not forcing us. The book projected a new image, a city built by humans and aliens, with towering structures, clean energy networks, and peaceful communities. The scene was filled with light and motion, a vision of what collaboration could achieve. Caro's voice filled the alcove again. You are witnessing not only knowledge but possibility. The library preserves the greatest achievements of civilizations and the desires that drove them. Those who study these records carefully can gain insight into the principles that led to success. Nico felt a shiver run down his spine. So it's not just history, it's teaching us how to be better, how to do more. This knowledge could change everything if we understand it correctly. Sila nodded, her fingers brushing the holographic symbols. It's like the library wants someone to continue what was started, to use this knowledge to build a better future. The book pulsed again, and the light grew warmer, almost inviting. Nico took a deep breath. Then we need to pay attention. We need to learn as much as we can, carefully, step by step. Sela smiled faintly. I think we're ready. Let's see where it leads us. As they continued exploring the glowing book, the library around them seemed to hum more clearly. Floating books and artifacts glimmered in response to their focus. Nico and Sela began to feel a deeper connection to the knowledge preserved here, as if the library itself recognized their desire to learn. Time passed unnoticed as they worked through the holographic challenges, moving from one scene to another. Every puzzle solved, every symbol understood, made the library's energy more vibrant. Nico realized the pull he had felt earlier was growing stronger. It wasn't just curiosity, it was a call, a desire embedded in the library for someone to understand, to carry forward the lessons of countless civilizations. Sela glanced at him, her expression serious but excited. Do you feel it too? The pull. Like it wants something from us. Nico nodded. Yes. I think it wants us to succeed, to learn, and maybe even to teach others one day. The glowing book settled slightly, its light steady now, almost like it was breathing. Nico felt a strange sense of purpose fill him. He knew their journey in the library was just beginning, and the challenges ahead would test more than their intelligence, they would test their humanity, their ability to understand, and their desire to help others. And somewhere deep within the vast space station, the book pulsed once more, signaling that the right minds had begun their journey, and the story of desire in the library was only just unfolding. Nico and Sela stood before the glowing book, their eyes fixed on the holographic maze of symbols and floating corridors. The images shifted constantly, showing humans and aliens solving problems together, but now, something new appeared, a test designed specifically for them. I think, this is the library's challenge, Nico said, his voice quiet. It wants to see how we handle problems. Not just knowledge, but choices. Sela frowned slightly, her fingers brushing the holographic symbols. Choices? What kind of choices? Before Nico could answer, the floor beneath them shimmered. Holographic pathways appeared, extending outward like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Each path led to a different projection, one showed a human colony struggling to survive, another an alien species in danger, and yet another a city in perfect harmony. It's asking us to decide, Nico realized. Which path to take, how to act, maybe even what matters most. Sela took a deep breath. This feels bigger than us. Are we ready for it? The glowing book pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. Nico reached out, touching the first path. Instantly, the holographic maze shifted, and a new scenario unfolded before them. They were inside a projection of a colony facing a sudden energy crisis. Machines stopped working, lights flickered, and people were worried. Holographic humans moved in confusion, and strange alien devices glimmered, waiting to be repaired. Nico frowned. We have to solve this, but how? Everything is broken. Sela studied the devices carefully. Look at how the humans and aliens interact. They are sharing knowledge, teaching each other. Maybe the solution is collaboration. Nico nodded. Okay, then let's try it together. As they touched the holographic tools, the projection responded to their actions. When Nico adjusted a device, Sela repaired another. Slowly, the energy flowed again, light stabilized, and the colony began to function. The holographic people smiled and nodded, as if acknowledging their efforts. That was incredible, Sela said, stepping back. It's like the library is showing us what cooperation can do. Not just knowledge, but teamwork. The maze shifted again, presenting a new challenge. This time, it was more complex, a scenario where a community faced a moral dilemma. A valuable resource could save one group but leave another struggling. Nico and Sela had to decide together what to do. Nico hesitated. If we choose one group over the other, it might not be the right thing. But if we try to help both, it could fail. Sela looked at him, calm but thoughtful. Maybe it's not about choosing alone. Maybe it wants us to think of a solution that benefits everyone, not just one side. They worked through the puzzle carefully, testing different solutions in the holographic projection. Each attempt changed the outcome, teaching them patience, empathy, and the importance of considering multiple perspectives. Finally, a bright light shone from the projection. The dilemma was resolved. Both groups survived, learning to share resources and knowledge. The library hummed louder, as if acknowledging their success. Did you feel that? Nico asked, smiling. The library, it reacted. It approved. Sela nodded, her eyes sparkling. I did. And I think it wants us to keep learning, to understand more than just facts. It wants us to understand people, emotions, and choices. The glowing book pulsed once again, revealing another projection. This one was different, a vision of a city where humans and aliens worked together to build a machine that could travel between stars instantly. The project required trust, communication, and courage. Nico felt a thrill of excitement. This is the library showing us the heights we can reach if we use everything we've learned. Sela's smile widened. And it's showing us that knowledge alone isn't enough. We need desire, the desire to help, to understand, to grow. That's what makes humans, humans. As they progressed through the challenge, the library around them seemed to come alive. Books floated closer, artifacts shimmered, and Caro's voice echoed softly. The library tests not only intellect but also spirit. Those who succeed here can carry the wisdom of civilizations into the future. Nico and Sela work side by side, solving puzzle after puzzle, learning from each scenario, and growing more confident in their abilities. With every choice they made, the library seemed to hum in approval, guiding them toward a deeper understanding of the world and themselves. Hours passed without notice. Nico paused, looking at Sela. I think we're ready for whatever comes next. The library is teaching us, but it's also trusting us to continue its work. Sela nodded, her gaze steady. Then let's keep going. There's more to learn, more challenges to face. And I think, the library wants us to succeed. The glowing book pulsed brighter, and a path of light extended from it, leading deeper into the library's heart. Nico and Sela stepped forward together, ready for the next challenge, their minds open, their spirits determined. Somewhere deep within the vast station, the library seemed to breathe, waiting for them to reach the limits of their courage, intelligence, and desire. And so, their journey had truly begun. The library seemed to stretch endlessly before Nico and Sela as they followed the glowing path from the book. The corridors shifted and reshaped themselves with every step, like the station was alive and guiding them deeper. Nico could feel a low hum vibrating through the floor, a sound that resonated with his chest. This place, it's changing around us, Sela said softly, her eyes scanning the moving shelves. It's like it knows we're here and wants to show us something. Nico nodded. I think you're right. It's not just a library, it's more than that. I feel like it's alive. The glowing book floated ahead of them, pulsing gently, as if beckoning them forward. When they reached a large hall, the holographic projections expanded, filling the room with images of humans and aliens from countless civilizations. They worked together, shared ideas, and created technology far beyond what Nico had ever imagined. Sela whispered, "These aren't just stories, these are memories. The library is keeping the life of these civilizations alive." Caro's voice echoed in the hall, calm and steady. "You are observing correctly. The library is a vessel for the knowledge, experiences, and desires of past civilizations. It preserves not only facts but also the spirit and values that allowed societies to grow and thrive. This is the true purpose of this station." Nico's eyes widened. So the library isn't just books. It's alive in a way. It remembers. It feels, in its own way. Sela reached out, touching a floating holographic figure. The projection shimmered and responded, turning toward her, almost as if acknowledging her presence. "It's reacting to us. It wants us to understand it, not just read it." The glowing book pulsed more strongly, projecting a vision of a massive city built jointly by humans and aliens. Energy flowed through the structures, machines hummed, and the inhabitants moved in perfect coordination. The vision was dazzling, filled with light and motion. Nico whispered, "It's showing us what's possible, what humans and other species can achieve when they work together." Sela's eyes sparkled with understanding. "And it's teaching us that it's not enough to know things. You need the desire to cooperate, to learn, to help others. That's the real power the library wants us to see." Caro's voice filled the hall again. "This library is a living archive. It responds to curiosity, intelligence, and empathy. It seeks those capable of understanding the lessons it preserves. Only such minds can carry the knowledge forward into the galaxy." Nico looked at Sela. "Do you realize what this means? The library has chosen us, in a way. It believes we can continue the work of civilizations that came before us." Sela nodded slowly. "And it's testing us, not just on what we know, but on how we think and feel. How we handle challenges, and whether we care about the greater good." The glowing book pulsed again, projecting a new scene, a council of humans and aliens debating a solution to a complex problem. Some argued for immediate action, others for careful planning. Nico noticed that the projection highlighted the emotions of each participant, their hopes, fears, and desires. "It's showing us that understanding people is as important as understanding technology," Nico said. "Empathy, teamwork, these are what make civilizations succeed." Sela smiled faintly. "And it wants us to use these lessons. Not just to succeed in the library, but to take them out into the galaxy. To inspire others." The library's energy seemed to hum louder, surrounding them in a gentle vibration. Nico felt warmth spreading through him, a sense of purpose that was almost physical. He realized the pull he had felt from the book earlier was not just curiosity, it was a call, a desire for someone to learn and act. This library, it wants more than study. It wants action, Nico said, feeling a spark of determination. It wants us to carry its lessons forward. Sela nodded. "Then let's do it. Let's understand everything it wants to teach and be ready for whatever comes next." The glowing book floated higher, illuminating the entire hall with a soft, golden light. Holographic images swirled around them, showing the full spectrum of human and alien cooperation, exploration, invention, diplomacy, and courage. The library's presence felt almost alive, a gentle but insistent reminder of the responsibility they now held. Nico took a deep breath. I think we're ready to face whatever challenges come next. The library is guiding us, and it's trusting us to continue its work. Sela placed her hand lightly on the floating book. We won't let it down. We'll learn, we'll grow, and we'll carry these lessons beyond these walls. Somewhere deep within the station, the library seemed to pulse in acknowledgement, as if recognizing that the right minds had arrived to inherit its wisdom. Nico and Sela stood side by side, ready for the next part of their journey, a journey that would test not only their minds but their hearts and the very desire that the library had awakened within them. The revelation was clear: the library was not only a repository of knowledge, it was alive with the hopes, dreams, and desires of civilizations long past, and it had chosen them to continue that legacy. The library's corridors stretched endlessly, filled with floating books, glowing artifacts, and shifting holographic pathways. Nico and Sela walked side by side, their senses alert. The air hummed with energy, stronger now than before, as if the entire station was aware of their every thought. This feels different, Sela whispered. Like it's leading us to something important. Something we can't ignore. Nico nodded, gripping the glowing book that had guided them so far. I think you're right. The library is testing us, but now. I feel like this is the final test. Before them, the holographic projections changed. They now showed a massive city under threat, a scenario where decisions mattered deeply. Humans and aliens struggled to survive a sudden disaster. Energy grids failed, water was scarce, and people looked to leaders for guidance. Caro's calm voice echoed in the hall. This is the ultimate trial. It tests intellect, empathy, and judgment. You must choose wisely. Your decisions will determine the outcome of these simulations and reveal the depth of your understanding. Nico swallowed, feeling the weight of responsibility. This isn't just a puzzle, it's a reflection of real choices. If we fail, we won't just fail the library, we'll fail ourselves. Sela nodded firmly. Then we have to think carefully. Every action counts. The first scenario demanded immediate action. Nico and Sela analyzed the problem, considering the needs of both humans and aliens. Each choice carried consequences. One solution could save the humans but harm the aliens, another might preserve the aliens but endanger the humans. I think the library wants us to find balance, Nico said, moving holographic controls with care. Not to choose one side over the other, but to find a solution that benefits everyone. Sela adjusted another projection, her eyes sharp. Then we have to collaborate. Combine our knowledge, not just our ideas, but our understanding of people. Together, they manipulated the holographic environment, testing multiple solutions. Each attempt changed the outcome slightly. When they worked in harmony, energy flowed, water reached the settlements, and both humans and aliens survived. The library hummed louder, its energy pulsing in approval. That worked, Sela said, astonished. It's like the library was guiding us to the right choice, but we had to figure it out ourselves. Nico nodded. It's showing us that intelligence alone isn't enough. You need patience, empathy, and collaboration. The glowing book floated higher, projecting a new scene. This one was more complex, a moral dilemma. A valuable resource could give one group an advantage, but leaving others without would create hardship. The library challenged them to find a solution that preserved fairness and cooperation. This is harder, Nico admitted. It's not just technical skill anymore. We have to think about what's right, not just what works. Sela looked at him, her expression serious but calm. Then we have to imagine the consequences for everyone. Think beyond ourselves. The library is testing not just our minds, but our hearts. They worked carefully, adjusting variables and weighing outcomes. Holographic projections shifted with every decision, showing how people's emotions, trust, and hope were affected. Slowly, a solution emerged, one where resources were shared fairly, cooperation was strengthened, and both communities learned to work together. The library pulsed around them, warmer now, almost as if it were breathing. Nico felt a wave of understanding wash over him. It's not about winning or losing. It's about making choices that help everyone, about desire to do good, not just desire to succeed. Sela nodded, a small smile forming. And that's what the library values. Empathy, intelligence, courage, and the desire to create a better future. The final projection appeared, a vision of a city thriving peacefully, humans and aliens working together, sharing knowledge and culture. Energy flowed freely, machines hummed in harmony, and the inhabitants moved confidently, trusting each other completely. Caro's voice filled the hall, soft but clear. You have completed the trial. You have demonstrated wisdom, collaboration, and understanding. The library acknowledges your ability to carry the lessons of civilizations into the future. Nico and Sela exchanged a look of awe. We did it, Nico whispered. We passed the trial. Sela nodded slowly, her eyes reflecting the golden light of the projections. Yes, but I think the trial isn't just about success. It's about learning, growing, and understanding what really matters. That's what the library wants us to see. The glowing book pulsed one last time, brighter than ever, casting a warm light over the hall. The library itself seemed to vibrate with approval, as if every floating book and artifact was acknowledging their achievement. Nico took a deep breath, feeling a new sense of purpose. The library trusted us to face this trial. And now, it's given us knowledge and insight to help others. To lead with wisdom, not just skill. Sela placed her hand on the floating book, smiling. Then let's honor that trust. We'll take these lessons with us, and share them with the galaxy. That's what the library wants us to do. Somewhere deep within the station, the library pulsed gently, its energy settling into a calm rhythm. Nico and Sela stood together, ready for the next stage of their journey, knowing that the trial had prepared them not only for challenges within the library but for the vast future that awaited beyond its walls. The ultimate test had shown them their true potential and the power of desire, understanding, and collaboration. The library seemed to glow brighter than ever as Nico and Sela stepped into a vast hall at its center. Floating books and holographic symbols surrounded them, moving gently as if recognizing their achievement in the trial. The air hummed with energy, warm and vibrant, wrapping around them like a soft current. This feels different, Sela said, her voice quiet but filled with awe. It's like the library itself is alive, welcoming us into something bigger. Nico nodded, feeling a deep sense of purpose. It's more than just knowledge. It's offering us a chance to grow, to transform. The glowing book floated ahead, its light steady now. Holographic images began to swirl around them, showing not only civilizations of the past but visions of the future, cities powered by clean energy, humans and aliens cooperating on interstellar projects, peaceful worlds connected by trade and learning. It's showing us possibilities, Nico said. The things we could achieve if we use everything we've learned. Sela reached out, touching a holographic projection of a vast city. The image responded, expanding and revealing the details of infrastructure, energy flow, and communication networks. And it's not just technology, she said. It's about cooperation, understanding, empathy, everything that makes a civilization strong. Caro's voice filled the hall, calm and steady. You have completed the trials, demonstrating wisdom, collaboration, and moral understanding. Now, the library offers its guidance to those ready to carry it forward. Knowledge alone is not enough, it must be integrated with insight, judgment, and purpose. Nico felt a warmth spread through him as if the library's energy was entering his mind, expanding his understanding. He could see patterns and connections he had never noticed before, how cooperation led to innovation, how empathy built trust, how desire to learn could overcome fear and misunderstanding. I feel different, Nico whispered. Like I understand more, not just facts, but the meaning behind them. Sela smiled, her eyes bright. Me too. It's like the library is teaching us how to think, not just what to know. The glowing book pulsed gently, and a stream of energy flowed into Nico and Sela, filling them with visions of new inventions, diplomatic strategies, and ways to connect distant civilizations. Every insight was clear, every lesson precise, yet wrapped in the warmth of understanding rather than cold data. This is incredible, Nico said, awe in his voice. It's not just learning. It's a transformation. The library is changing us to be more capable, more human. Sela nodded. It's giving us what we need to help others. To inspire cooperation and understanding across the galaxy. The holographic images shifted, showing Nico and Sela themselves guiding communities, teaching others to solve problems, mediate disputes, and work together. They saw humans and aliens building starships together, exploring planets, and creating worlds of peace and innovation. The library isn't just giving us knowledge, Nico said, it's showing us how to use it wisely. Caro's voice echoed again. The lessons you receive here are intended to be applied. Knowledge gains value only when shared, only when used to guide and uplift others. Your transformation is complete when you take these lessons beyond the walls of the library. Sela placed her hand on Nico's shoulder. We've learned so much. And now, we can make a real difference. A gentle glow surrounded them, the library's energy flowing through every book, every artifact, every holographic record. Nico and Sela felt their minds expanding, not with overwhelming information, but with understanding, insight, and clarity. They could see patterns of cooperation and innovation across civilizations, and how the smallest choices could ripple into great change. This is what the library wanted all along, Nico said. It wanted someone to carry its lessons, to continue the work of those who came before us. To build a future worth striving for. Sela nodded, smiling softly. And we're ready. We've passed the trials, learned the lessons, and now, we can take the library with us, in a way. The glowing book pulsed one final time, and the holographic projections faded into streams of light, merging into the floating artifacts and books around the hall. The energy of the library settled into a calm rhythm, warm and steady, as if acknowledging their readiness. Nico took a deep breath. The library trusted us to grow, to transform. And now, it's giving us the tools to help others. To lead with wisdom, courage, and empathy. Sela glanced around the hall, the floating books shimmering softly. We have a responsibility now. Not just to ourselves, but to the galaxy. To show others what is possible when knowledge and desire are combined. Together, they stepped forward, leaving the central hall, the glowing book floating gently beside them. The library's corridors shifted and reshaped, guiding them toward the exit. They were no longer the same as when they had entered. They carried the lessons of countless civilizations, the insight of cooperation, and the power of desire to achieve greatness. The library had transformed them. And somewhere deep within the vast station, its hum continued, a gentle reminder that the desire for knowledge, understanding, and unity would always guide those willing to learn. Nico and Sela walked side by side, ready to carry the library's wisdom into the galaxy, prepared to inspire, to teach, and to lead. The library's corridors stretched endlessly, filled with floating books, glowing artifacts, and shifting holographic pathways. Nico and Sela walked side by side, their senses alert. The air hummed with energy, stronger now than before, as if the entire station was aware of their every thought. "This feels different," Sela whispered. "Like it's leading us to something important. Something we can't ignore." Nico nodded, gripping the glowing book that had guided them so far. "I think you're right. The library is testing us, but now. I feel like this is the final test." Before them, the holographic projections changed. They now showed a massive city under threat, a scenario where decisions mattered deeply. Humans and aliens struggled to survive a sudden disaster. Energy grids failed, water was scarce, and people looked to leaders for guidance. Caro's calm voice echoed in the hall. "This is the ultimate trial. It tests intellect, empathy, and judgment. You must choose wisely. Your decisions will determine the outcome of these simulations and reveal the depth of your understanding." Nico swallowed, feeling the weight of responsibility. This isn't just a puzzle, it's a reflection of real choices. If we fail, we won't just fail the library, we'll fail ourselves. Sela nodded firmly. "Then we have to think carefully. Every action counts." The first scenario demanded immediate action. Nico and Sela analyzed the problem, considering the needs of both humans and aliens. Each choice carried consequences. One solution could save the humans but harm the aliens, another might preserve the aliens but endanger the humans. "I think the library wants us to find balance," Nico said, moving holographic controls with care. "Not to choose one side over the other, but to find a solution that benefits everyone." Sela adjusted another projection, her eyes sharp. "Then we have to collaborate. Combine our knowledge, not just our ideas, but our understanding of people." Together, they manipulated the holographic environment, testing multiple solutions. Each attempt changed the outcome slightly. When they worked in harmony, energy flowed, water reached the settlements, and both humans and aliens survived. The library hummed louder, its energy pulsing in approval. That worked," Sela said, astonished. "It's like the library was guiding us to the right choice, but we had to figure it out ourselves." Nico nodded. "It's showing us that intelligence alone isn't enough. You need patience, empathy, and collaboration." The glowing book floated higher, projecting a new scene. This one was more complex, a moral dilemma. A valuable resource could give one group an advantage, but leaving others without would create hardship. The library challenged them to find a solution that preserved fairness and cooperation. "This is harder," Nico admitted. "It's not just technical skill anymore. We have to think about what's right, not just what works." Sela looked at him, her expression serious but calm. "Then we have to imagine the consequences for everyone. Think beyond ourselves. The library is testing not just our minds, but our hearts." They worked carefully, adjusting variables and weighing outcomes. Holographic projections shifted with every decision, showing how people's emotions, trust, and hope were affected. Slowly, a solution emerged, one where resources were shared fairly, cooperation was strengthened, and both communities learned to work together. The library pulsed around them, warmer now, almost as if it were breathing. Nico felt a wave of understanding wash over him. It's not about winning or losing. It's about making choices that help everyone, about desire to do good, not just desire to succeed. Sela nodded, a small smile forming. And that's what the library values. Empathy, intelligence, courage, and the desire to create a better future. The final projection appeared, a vision of a city thriving peacefully, humans and aliens working together, sharing knowledge and culture. Energy flowed freely, machines hummed in harmony, and the inhabitants moved confidently, trusting each other completely. Caro's voice filled the hall, soft but clear. You have completed the trial. You have demonstrated wisdom, collaboration, and understanding. The library acknowledges your ability to carry the lessons of civilizations into the future. Nico and Sela exchanged a look of awe. We did it, Nico whispered. We passed the trial. Sela nodded slowly, her eyes reflecting the golden light of the projections. Yes, but I think the trial isn't just about success. It's about learning, growing, and understanding what really matters. That's what the library wants us to see. The glowing book pulsed one last time, brighter than ever, casting a warm light over the hall. The library itself seemed to vibrate with approval, as if every floating book and artifact was acknowledging their achievement. Nico took a deep breath, feeling a new sense of purpose. The library trusted us to face this trial. And now, it's given us knowledge and insight to help others. To lead with wisdom, not just skill. Sela placed her hand on the floating book, smiling. Then let's honor that trust. We'll take these lessons with us, and share them with the galaxy. That's what the library wants us to do. Somewhere deep within the station, the library pulsed gently, its energy settling into a calm rhythm. Nico and Sela stood together, ready for the next stage of their journey, knowing that the trial had prepared them not only for challenges within the library but for the vast future that awaited beyond its walls. The ultimate test had shown them their true potential and the power of desire, understanding, and collaboration. Nico and Sela stepped out of the central hall, leaving behind the glowing book that had guided them through trials, challenges, and transformations. The corridors of the library shimmered softly, as if bowing to their achievement. Floating books and holographic records adjusted their positions, forming a quiet path toward the station's exit. It feels peaceful, Sela said, glancing around. Like the library knows its lessons are in good hands now. Nico nodded, his heart full of purpose. It trusted us. And now, it's time to share what we've learned. The space station's observation deck overlooked the planet below, a swirling mix of blue oceans and green continents. Nico took a deep breath, imagining the possibilities that awaited beyond the station. Every challenge they had faced, every trial they had completed, had prepared them for this moment, the moment when the lessons of countless civilizations would reach the wider galaxy. Sela smiled. Do you think we're ready? Nico looked at her, determination in his eyes. We've learned more than we could have imagined. We understand technology, diplomacy, cooperation, and the power of desire. We're ready to take the library's lessons into the world. Together, they returned to the shuttle, carrying the knowledge they had gained, not just facts, but insight, understanding, and a deep appreciation for the value of empathy and collaboration. The library had shown them that knowledge alone was not enough, it must be guided by wisdom, purpose, and desire. As they entered the shuttle, Caro's voice echoed softly through the station. Remember, the library's knowledge gains meaning only when it is applied. Use it to guide, to teach, and to inspire. The legacy of civilizations is now in your hands. Nico and Sela exchanged a glance, both feeling the weight and honor of this responsibility. We will, Nico said firmly. We'll honor everything we've learned. The shuttle lifted from the station, leaving the glowing corridors behind. Outside, the galaxy stretched endlessly, full of worlds waiting to be explored, civilizations waiting to be guided, and possibilities waiting to be realized. Sela tapped a control panel, plotting a course toward the nearest human colonies. We have to start somewhere. And the sooner we share what we've learned, the sooner others can benefit. Nico nodded. The library gave us knowledge, yes, but it also gave us vision. A vision of what is possible when humans work with each other, and with others across the galaxy. That's what we need to show everyone. The journey to the first colony passed quickly. Nico and Sela shared strategies for collaboration, teaching methods to solve problems, and approaches to unite different cultures peacefully. At each settlement, they were met with curiosity and hope, as leaders and citizens alike listened to the lessons from the legendary space station library. It's working, Sela whispered one evening as they watched a group of humans and aliens cooperate on a farming project. They're using the lessons we brought from the library. Cooperation, understanding, it's spreading. Nico smiled. It's the library's desire becoming real. Knowledge, when paired with purpose, can change everything. As weeks passed, their influence grew. Cities once isolated began sharing resources and technology. Conflicts were resolved through dialogue and mutual respect. Nico and Sela watched with satisfaction as the seeds planted by the library's lessons blossomed into real progress across worlds. One evening, on a quiet planet covered with silver forests, Nico looked up at the stars. It all started with the library, he said softly. It trusted us to continue its work, and now, look at what's happening. Sela joined him, her eyes reflecting the starlight. It's not just what we do. It's the desire inside us, the desire to understand, to help, to build a better future. That's what the library wanted all along. They stood in silence for a moment, feeling the vastness of the galaxy and the impact of their journey. The library's lessons were no longer confined to its walls, they lived in the actions of people and civilizations, spreading hope, knowledge, and unity. Finally, Nico spoke. The library gave us knowledge, challenges, and transformation. And now it's given us the chance to leave a legacy. To show that humans, guided by wisdom and desire, can make the galaxy a better place. Sela smiled. And we will. One world at a time, one choice at a time. That's the power of desire and knowledge combined. The shuttle lifted again, leaving the silver forests behind, moving toward new colonies, new challenges, and new opportunities. Nico and Sela were no longer just explorers, they were teachers, guides, and carriers of a legacy built over centuries of civilization. Somewhere deep in orbit, the library pulsed gently, a quiet heartbeat in the vastness of space. Its work was not finished, but it had found the right minds to carry its lessons forward. The desire it held for knowledge, understanding, and cooperation was now alive in Nico and Sela, ready to shine across the galaxy. And so, the legacy of the library lived on. Humanity's potential, guided by wisdom, courage, and desire, would spread far and wide, inspiring generations to come. The stars stretched endlessly before them, and for the first time, Nico and Sela felt that the galaxy itself was full of possibilities, waiting for those with the desire to reach them.